So starting with the projector and just looking at the outside, golly, makes it much more difficult to edit when you got to take out all the coughing and snifflings. Hey guys, what's up? It's Matt with 86 Media, and today I'm taking a look at a budget $100 projector. And guys, before I forget to mention, it is a 720p native projector with the ability to upscale 1080p, but it is 720p native inside. This projector is right at $100, $99.99 on Amazon. It's by iCODIS, and it's the T400 model. This projector is rated at 3800 lumens, which I'm going to say right now, take any of that, especially from these third-party manufacturers, with a grain of salt, because no, I don't believe that that's right. If you're comparing it to something like the Epson 2150 at 2500 lumens, it feels much brighter than this one does, and we'll go over that more as I go into this video. So I've got a little bit of a cold too, so I'm still kind of dealing with that if I sound a little sickish. Starting with looking a little bit at the outside of the projector, we have what looks like kind of a macroscopic lens, which you see on a lot of these budget projectors. This is normal for anything you buy that's cheap. A little bit that's misleading about this is the fact that in the pictures, it looks like it has an actual kind of a high definition, good looking lens in there from a nice assembly setup. But that's not the case. It's pretty much just hopefully nicely machined manufactured glass that's going to project a macro image of what it sees on the LED inside. Outside on the side though, we have a pretty impressive lineup of 2 HDMIs, 2 USBs, and 2 3.5mm audio. The speaker that is built into it is actually pretty good, which somewhat surprised me. Is it incredible? No. Are you going to want something external? Yes. That's how I feel about it anyways. We're going to pause here real quick so you can hear the sound of that speaker itself, and you decide what you think. I mean, of course, it's going to be recorded over this microphone and played back to you over your own speakers, so you know, just do what you can to kind of listen and compare there. Anyways, I've definitely heard much worse on some of these cheaper projectors. I've heard much worse on some of the more expensive projectors. The 2150's built-in speaker is not that great. I think this one's actually better than that. So the projector's not loaded with any kind of smart features or anything like that. It's pretty much you get it out, you plug it in, and then you decide what source you're going to put into it, whether a TV box, Apple TV, Roku, Fire Stick, some device with Kodi on it because everybody loves Kodi to death, and then start your watching experience. Now, it does have manual Keystone correction and manual focus, so that's okay. That's kind of expected. I totally would have expected that from this. What I didn't expect was it to look as good as it did for what you pay for. It does get pretty bright. Again, I don't think that's going to be 3800 lumens. You always got to take that with a grain of salt when a company says that. They could say it has 10 million lumens. There's no ANSI rating for it, which even then there's no governance over how an organization or company is really going to determine what their lux and lumens are, nor do they really ever explain where they get that number from the bounce back from the screen, depending on what distance. Anyways, just take it with a grain of salt. It does feel bright though. In this brightly lit room, I broadcast it up at about 65 inches, then I pulled it all the way back as far as I could get it, which is about 12 feet, and I was able to achieve somewhere 150 plus. I couldn't quite reach to measure all the way, but it was definitely a large image with sunlight in the room, and I could still watch on it on just a blank wall. There is some minor blur curvature at the corners. It's nothing that's, I've seen worse, I'll tell you that. I've definitely seen worse. So I was impressed with how it looked. Color reproduction looks good. The contrast ratio only being 3000 to 1, but still looking pretty good. It just made me feel like, you know what? For $100, I would not be disappointed with this. If you're looking for a startup projector for, hey, your first projector for a little room that you're converting, this is a good one. If you want a projector for playing games on, I think that this is definitely probably a good option. Now, the last one I looked at that was around this price range was probably 2 years ago now, and that was the Elephas one, which was okay, but this one's definitely better, and it just shows you that a lot of these are coming a long way with their price to what they can do performance. Another downside to it though is it has one constant blower fan that is one ramped up speed the entire time. Whether it's on, just idling, whether you're watching something, there's not really an option to change that. So just be aware. We'll pause here so you can listen to that fan. It is pretty loud, much louder than most projectors I've looked at, and that's somewhat of a downside. But anyways, take a listen to this. Now, if you're somebody that's serious about projectors, this won't be the projector for you. You're going to want to look at something a little more expensive, made by a little more known of a manufacturer, BenQ or Xiaomi or Epson, ViewSonic. I can't think of any of them right now. What's wrong with me? But anyways, like I said, if you're looking to try having a projector, this is a pretty good one to start with, I think. Now, on the bottom of the projector, you have the ability to invert the image and hang it upside down so you can hang it from a projector mount. Where might you do this, you're probably wondering. You actually have to take the glued down rubber feet and pry them up to expose all of your anchor points for your threaded screw mounts. I've seen this a lot with some of these cheaper projectors, like they're not just like screw off removable feet. You actually have to pop them out in order to use it. It does have a stand. If you do the stand too far though, that screw will come out. However, it does have a stand if you need to prop it up and use Keystone to correct it. So if you put it on a bookshelf in the back of a room, if you're setting it on a table somewhere, you can do that. Focusing it and using Keystone was pretty easy on it. I didn't have any problems with it. It's pretty fluid, pretty nice little easy motion, which is good, because there's nothing worse than trying to fight with a projector to get the image you want. And I didn't have that problem here. It was pretty easy to focus. There's no hard steps in the focus wheel, so you either get to the end of it or you get to the beginning of it, and in between it's just a nice roll motion until you found your focus. Now, something that's really cool about this pretty low price projector also is the fact that you can go in there and change things like sharpness and tint. You can change contrast. You can go in there and modify these under a user profile settings and save your user profile. Out of the box, I thought it was pretty well set up already, but you can go in there and modify these things to your liking. It comes basically on a basic standard mode, and you can go through to user and customize these things as you see fit. Now, the remote's nothing special, nothing to write home about, nothing to go and tell everybody is incredible, because it's really just a generic remote that uses an IR signal. I would much rather prefer to see RF kind of come into play with newer stuff that's coming out, but IR is okay as long as you put enough IR points on it. Now, it does have one in the back and it has one in the front, so that's great. Whether you're behind it or you're sitting in front of it and want to bounce that signal off the wall, you should have pretty good contact with the projector via the IR sensor. It's pretty lightweight, it's pretty nice, and for $100, it's not one that you're going to have to worry about in 3,000 hours. Do I need a new lamp assembly for it? That's going to cost the price of this projector. At that point, they'll probably have the T450 or the T500 or something else out for the same price. I would probably recommend this as, hate to call it a toss-away projector, but there's not really a lot of worth to doing maintenance on it. The only reason I'm saying that too is because people have asked me, how do you change the bulb in like the Elephas one? And while it may be doable and a little bit DIY, having access to those parts, it's not like Epson, which sells the lamp assembly with instructions and a guide on how to do it for about the price of this projector anyway. So again, once it's had its runtime, its use, it's over, then go ahead and replace it. Now, this one should last for a while as it uses LED to power the lights. You shouldn't have a problem with it. You know, I can't speak for any kind of defects that might happen down the road. I don't know yet, but as I use it a little bit over time, we'll find that out. But again, it should last you for a pretty good while, or until you're ready to upgrade to a big boy projector. Not that this isn't a big boy projector, it's just, you know, again, I'm going to refer to it affectionately as kind of a startup projector. Find out if you want a projector, if it's something you like. It has the ability to achieve a pretty large picture and still look good. I've enjoyed watching on it. I remember when I plugged it up, I had low expectations, and come to find out, those expectations were unfounded because it somewhat surprised me. For $100, definitely. Anyways, guys, if you have any questions, I'm sure I've missed something. I've missed some burning question from somebody that wanted to know something very detailed about this. Be sure and post that down below, and I'll do my best to get back with you and assist you in answering that question. You guys have a great day, night, whatever it is, and I will see you in the next video that I do.